I never thought I'd be the type of person to hold grudges. I mean, I always prided myself on being understanding, forgiving, the kind of person who lets things slide. But sometimes, something happens that it changes you. And for me, that something was my 32nd birthday. I remember waking up that morning feeling excited. You know that feeling when you're a kid and it's Christmas morning? That's how I felt. I'd been dropping hints for weeks to my family about my birthday. Not because I needed a big party or expensive gifts, but because I wanted them to remember. I wanted to feel like I mattered. See, I've always been the one who remembers everything. Every birthday, every anniversary, every little milestone. When my sister Sarah got her promotion last year, I was the one who organized the celebration dinner. When my brother Mike's wife had their second baby, I was at the hospital with flowers and a care package. When my parents had their 40th wedding anniversary, guess who spent 3 weeks planning the perfect surprise party? That's right. Me. So when I woke up that Tuesday morning, I thought surely they'd remember. I mean, it's not like my birthday changes every year. Right? October 15th. Same date for 32 years. I got dressed, made my coffee, and waited. I kept checking my phone, thinking maybe they'd call early. Maybe Sarah would text me one of those long, heartfelt messages she usually sends. Maybe Mike would show up with donuts like he did when we were kids. Maybe my parents would call with that off-key singing they've been doing since I was 5, but nothing. I went to work, thinking maybe they were planning something for later. Maybe they were being sneaky about it. I work at a small marketing firm downtown, and my coworkers, they're good people. My desk was decorated with balloons and streamers, and there was a card signed by everyone. My boss, Janet, had gotten me a little cake from the bakery down the street. These people, who I see 40 hours a week, remembered my birthday, but my own family? Nothing. I kept checking my phone throughout the day. By lunch, I was starting to feel this knot in my stomach. By 3 o'clock, I was making excuses for them. Maybe they were busy. Maybe they'd call later. Maybe they were planning something big for the weekend. I left work at 5:30, drove home to my little apartment, and sat on my couch with takeout Chinese food and a bottle of wine. I kept staring at my phone, willing it to ring. I even picked it up a few times to call them myself, but I don't know. Pride, maybe? Or just I wanted them to remember on their OWN that at around 8 o'clock, I finally broke down and called Sarah. She's only 2 years younger than me, and we've always been close. The phone rang 4 times before she picked up. Hey, what's up? She said, and I could hear the TV in the background. Oh, nothing much, I said, waiting. Giving her a chance. Cool. Listen, I'm in the middle of this Netflix series, can I call you back tomorrow? My heart just sank.
Yeah.
Sure. No problem. Great, talk to you later. And she hung up. I sat there holding the phone, feeling smaller than I'd ever felt in my life. My own sister. We talk almost every day, and she couldn't. She didn't even remember. I called Mike next. It went straight to voicemail. I didn't leave a message, then I called my parents. My mom answered on the second ring. Hi honey, she said, and for a moment, my heart jumped. Maybe she remembered. Maybe she was about to sing happy birthday or tell me they were on their way. Over. Hi mom. How was your day? Oh, busy as always. Your father and I went to that new garden center, and I bought way too many plants. I swear, I don't know where I'm going to put them all. She kept talking about plants and gardening, and I listened. I kept waiting for her to remember, to suddenly gasp and say, oh my God, I can't believe I almost forgot. But she didn't. She talked for 20 minutes about mulch and fertilizer and never once mentioned my birthday. When I finally hung up, I felt empty. Like there was this hollow space in my chest where something important used to be. I sat there on my couch with my cold lo mein and my wine, and I cried. I cried like I hadn't cried since I was a kid, but you know what hurt the most? It wasn't just that they forgot. It was that they forgot so completely, so thoroughly, that it was like the day meant nothing at all. Like I meant nothing at all, that I went to bed that night feeling different. Like something had shifted inside me. I kept thinking about all the birthdays I'd remembered, all the celebrations I'd organized, all the times I'd gone out of my way to make them feel special. And for what, the next morning, I woke up and checked my phone. Still nothing. No late-night texts apologizing, no missed calls, no messages. Nothing. I went to work, and Janet asked me how my birthday was. I told her it was nice, quiet. I couldn't bring myself to tell her the truth. It was too embarrassing, too painful, but as the days passed, something started to change in me. I kept waiting for someone to remember, to call and apologize, to make some excuse about how busy they'd been. A week went by. Then 2 weeks. Then 3. Nothing. It was like my birthday had never happened. Like I'd imagined the whole thing, but here's the thing about being forgotten by the people who are supposed to love you the most: it gives you a clarity you never had before. It makes you see things differently. It makes you realize that maybe, just maybe, you've been giving too much of yourself to people who don't appreciate it. I started paying attention to things I'd never really noticed before. Like how my sister Sarah always called me when she needed something. When her car broke down, who did she call? Me. When she needed help moving apartments, who spent their entire weekend hauling boxes? Me. When she was going through her messy breakup with David, who listened to her cry for hours on the phone every night for 2 weeks? Me. But when it came to my birthday, nothing. And Mike. God, Mike. He's always been the baby of the family, even though he's 28 and married with 2 kids. But he still acts like he's entitled to everyone's help. When he needed a down payment for his house 3 years ago, who loaned him $15,000? Me. When his wife went back to school and they needed help with childcare, who spent every Tuesday and Thursday evening babysitting? Me. But my birthday? Completely forgotten. And my parents, they're good people, don't get me wrong. But they've always been so focused on Sarah and Mike. Sarah's the social one, the one with the big personality. Mike's the one with the kids, the one who gave them grandchildren. And me? I'm just reliable. I'm the one who remembers to call every Sunday. I'm the one who visits every holiday. I'm the one who makes sure they have rides to doctor's appointments and help with their taxes, but apparently, I'm not worth remembering on my birthday. The more I thought about it, the more angry I got. Not the explosive kind of anger that makes you want to scream and throw things. The quiet kind. The kind that sits in your chest and burns slow and steady, like a coal that never goes out. I started keeping track of things. Not in a crazy way, just noticing. Every phone call that was about what they needed. Every favor they asked for. Every time they took me for granted, and I realized something that made me feel sick to my stomach. I was being used. My own family was using me, and I'd been letting them do it for years because I thought that's what family was supposed to do. I thought that's what love looked like, but love isn't supposed to be one-sided, is it? About a month after my birthday, I was at work when I got a call from my mom. This was unusual because she usually called on Sundays, and it was a Wednesday. "Hi honey," she said, and I could hear something in her voice. Stress, maybe. Or worry. "Hi Mom. Everything okay?" "Well, not really. I didn't want to worry you, but we've been having some financial problems." My stomach dropped. "What kind of problems?" "Your father's been having some health issues, and with the medical bills and, well, we might lose the house." The house. The house I grew up in, with the big oak tree in the front yard and the kitchen where my mom taught me to make cookies. The house where all my childhood memories lived. "Mom, what are you talking about? Lose the house how? We're behind on the mortgage payments. 3 months behind. The bank sent us a letter saying they're starting foreclosure proceedings." I felt like I couldn't breathe. Mom, why didn't you tell me sooner? We didn't want to burden you kids. We thought we could figure it out, but... She started crying. I don't know what we're going to do. How much do you owe? The whole mortgage. It's a lot, honey. About $230,000. $230,000. A fortune to most people. But not to me, you see. Here's something my family didn't know about me. Something I'd never told them because I'd learned to keep my business to myself. About 5 years ago, I'd started investing. Not in anything fancy or risky, just smart investments. Index funds, some tech stocks, a little real estate. I'd been putting away money every month, living below my means, building something for my future, and last year, one of my investments had paid off in a big way. A startup I'd bought into early had been acquired by a major corporation. My initial $5,000 investment had turned into $1.2 million overnight. I'd never told anyone. Not my family, not my friends, not even my coworkers. I'd paid off my student loans, bought my car outright, and put the rest into more conservative investments. I was set for life, and nobody knew. Mom, I said, let me see what I can do. Oh honey, I don't want you to worry about this. We'll figure something out. No, Mom. Let me help. Family takes care of family, right? That's what I said, but inside, I was thinking something else entirely. I was thinking about my birthday. About how quickly they'd called me when they needed something, and how completely they'd forgotten me when they didn't. I told her I'd call her back, and I hung up. Then I sat at my desk, staring at my computer screen, thinking I could pay off their mortgage. I could do it easily, without even touching my main investments. I had the money sitting in a money market account, earning almost nothing. I could write a check tomorrow and save their house, but the question was, did I want to? I know that sounds cruel. I know it sounds like I was being petty, holding my birthday against them when they were about to lose their home. But I wasn't thinking about revenge. I was thinking about patterns. About the way they'd always treated me, and the way they probably always would. If I paid off their mortgage, would they be grateful? Would they suddenly start remembering my birthday, start treating me like I mattered? Or would they just accept it as another example of reliable old me doing what I always do, and then forget about it by next week? I thought about it all day. I thought about it all night. I thought about it for 3 days straight, and then I made a decision. I called my financial advisor, a woman named Patricia who'd been helping me manage my investments. I told her I wanted to pay off a mortgage, and asked her to set up a wire transfer. That's wonderful that you're helping your family, she said. I'm sure they'll be so grateful. Actually, I said, I want to do this anonymously. Anonymous? I don't understand. I want to pay off their mortgage, but I don't want them to know it came from me. Is there a way to do that? Patricia was quiet for a moment. Well, yes, there are ways. We could set up a trust, or work through a third party. But, can I ask why you want to do it this way? I thought about how to explain it. I want to see what happens when they think they're safe. I want to see how they act when they're not desperate anymore. I want to see if they remember me when they don't need me. That's actually quite wise, Patricia said. Let me make some calls and see what we can arrange. It took a week to set up, but we did it. Patricia worked with a law firm that specialized in anonymous transactions. They created a fictional company called Autumn Oak Holdings, and structured the payment to look like a corporate charity program for families in financial distress. The law firm contacted my parents directly, explaining that they'd been selected to receive assistance based on their credit history and community involvement. The mortgage would be paid in full, no strings attached, no payments required. A gift from a company that wanted to help families stay in their homes. Why parents were, understandably, suspicious at first. They thought it was a scam. But their lawyer looked into it, confirmed that it was legitimate, and advised them to accept it. The day the payment went through, my mom called me, crying with relief. You won't believe what happened, she said. Some company just paid off our entire mortgage. The whole thing. We own the house free and clear now. Mom, that's incredible, I said. What company? Automoke Holdings. We've never heard of them. But their lawyers say they do this for families in need. Can you believe it? It's like a miracle. That's amazing, Mom. You must be so relieved. I am. We both are. Your father's been walking around in a daze all day, saying he can't believe it's real. So what are you going to do now? Well, first we're going to take a vacation. We haven't been anywhere in years because we couldn't afford it. And then? I don't know. We can actually live now, instead of just surviving. I listened to her talk about their plans, their relief, their joy. And I felt empty. Not satisfied, not vindicated. Just empty, because even in her happiness, even in this moment of incredible relief, she didn't mention my birthday. She didn't suddenly remember that she'd forgotten it. She didn't apologize or even seem to think about it. I was just the person she called to share the news with. The reliable daughter who would listen and be happy for them. The next few weeks were revealing in ways I hadn't expected. My parents did take a vacation, a cruise to the Caribbean that they'd been talking about for years. They posted pictures on Facebook, smiling and relaxed in ways I hadn't seen them in years. When they got back, they invited Sarah and Mike and their families over for a big dinner to celebrate. I was invited too, of course. I sat at the same dining room table where I'd eaten thousands of meals, listening to them talk about their good fortune. It's like winning the lottery, my dad said. Except better, because we didn't even have to buy a ticket. You should have seen Mom when the lawyer called, Sarah said, laughing. She thought it was a scam and hung up on him twice. I was protecting us, Mom said. You can't be too careful these days. Well, I'm just glad everything worked out, Mike said. I was worried about you guys. I noticed something interesting. Mike said he was worried, but he hadn't offered to help. Neither had Sarah. They'd all known about the financial problems, but I was the only one who'd been asked to help. The only one who'd been expected to have a solution. As the evening went on, I watched my family. I watched the way they interacted, the way they laughed and talked and shared stories. And I realized something that made me feel both sad and liberated at the same time. They were good people. They loved each other. But they loved me differently than they loved each other. They loved me the way you love a reliable tool, or a comfortable piece of furniture. They loved me for what I did, not for who I was, and that was never going to change. After dinner, I helped my mom clear the table, just like I always did. As we stood at the sink, she turned to me with a smile. You know, honey, I keep thinking about how lucky we are. If that company hadn't helped us, we would have lost everything. You're right, I said. It was incredibly generous of them. I just wish I knew who they were so I could thank them properly. I mean, they saved our lives, and we don't even know their names. I looked at her, really looked at her, and I saw something in her eyes that I'd never seen before. Not towards me, anyway. Genuine gratitude. Deep, overwhelming appreciation for someone who'd helped her without expecting anything in return, someone who wasn't me. Maybe that's the point, I said. Maybe they didn't want to be thanked. Maybe they just wanted to help. You're probably right. But still, I wish I could do something for them. I dried the last dish and put it in the cabinet. You are doing something for them. You're living your life. You're being happy. That's probably all they wanted. Over the next few months, I watched my parents transform. Without the weight of mortgage payments, they were different people. They took another vacation. They started going out to dinner more often. They bought new furniture for the first time in years. They seemed lighter. Happier, and I was happy for them. Genuinely happy. But I also felt this strange distance, like I was watching their lives from outside a window. My birthday came around again. October 15th. I didn't expect them to remember, and they didn't. But this time, it didn't hurt the same way. It was more like confirmation. Proof that I'd been right about everything. I spent my 33rd birthday alone, by choice. I took the day off work, drove to the mountains, and spent the day hiking. It was peaceful. I felt more like myself than I had in years. When I got home that evening, I had 17 missed calls from Sarah. Damn, my heart stopped. 17 calls meant emergency. I called her back immediately. "Oh my God, finally," she said when she answered. "I've been trying to reach you all day. What's wrong? Is everyone okay?" "It's Mom and Dad. They've been in an accident." The next few hours were a blur. I drove to the hospital, met Sarah and Mike in the waiting room, and spent the night pacing the halls while we waited for news. It wasn't life-threatening, thank God, but it was serious. Dad had a broken leg and some bruised ribs. Mom had a concussion and a broken wrist. They were going to be okay, but they'd need help for the next few weeks. Someone to drive them to appointments, help with groceries, basic care. "I can take time off work," Sarah said, but I could hear the reluctance in her voice. She just started a new job and was trying to make a good impression. "I can help on weekends," Mike said, "but with the kids and everything, I'll do it," I said. "I'll take care of them." And I did. For 3 weeks, I took vacation time and sick days and spent every day at their house. I cooked their meals, drove them to doctor's appointments, helped them with physical therapy exercises. I cleaned their house, did their laundry, picked up their prescriptions. It was during the second week, when I was helping my mom get dressed one morning, that she said something that changed everything. "I don't know what we would have done without you," she said, struggling to get her injured arm through the sleeve of her shirt. "Sarah and Mike have their own lives, their own responsibilities. But you're always there for us." "It's okay, Mom. It's what family does." She was quiet for a moment, then she looked at me with tears in her eyes. "I know I don't say it enough, but I'm so grateful for you. You're the best daughter a mother could ask for." I felt something crack inside my chest. Not break, exactly. But shift. Like something that had been frozen was starting to thaw. "Mom," I said, "do you know what day it is?" "It's Thursday, isn't it?" "No, I mean, do you know what yesterday was?" She looked confused. "Wednesday." "Mom, yesterday was October 15th. She stared at me blankly for a moment, then her eyes widened. "Oh my God. Oh my God, honey, yesterday was your birthday." "Yes. I forgot. I completely forgot. How could I forget my own daughter's birthday?" I saw the moment it really hit her. The horror, the guilt, the realization that she'd forgotten not just yesterday, but last year too. I saw her remember all the times I'd been there for her, all the times I'd remembered her birthday, her anniversary, every important date in her life. "Honey, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." "It's okay, Mom." "No, it's not okay. It's not okay, at all." She started crying. "I've been a terrible mother. I've taken you for granted, and I've been so selfish, and Mom, stop. You're not a terrible mother. You're human. You forgot. It happens. Not to you. You never forget. You remember everything, and you take care of everyone, and we just expect it. We expect you to be there, and we never give you the same in return." I helped her finish getting dressed, and we sat on the edge of her bed. She was still crying, and I realized I was crying too. "I want to make it up to you," she said. "I want to be better. I want to be the mother you deserve. You already are, Mom. You're just overwhelmed. We all are." "No, I'm not. I'm thoughtless. I'm selfish. I've been so focused on my own problems that I forgot about my own daughter. We sat there for a long time, holding each other and crying. And for the first time in years, I felt like I was seeing my real mother. Not the distracted, overwhelmed woman who'd forgotten my birthday, but the woman who'd raised me, who'd loved me, who'd taught me to be the person I was. "Mom," I said, "I need to tell you something." "What is it?" I took a deep breath. "I'm the one who paid off your mortgage." She pulled back and stared at me. "What?" "Autumn Oak Holdings. That's not a real company. I made it up. I paid off your mortgage." She looked at me like I'd just spoken in a foreign language. "I don't understand. How could you? Where would you get that kind of money?" I told her about my investments, about the startup that had paid off, about how I'd been living quietly below my means for years. I told her about the phone call when she'd said they might lose the house, and how I'd made the decision to help anonymously. "You did that," she said. "You saved our house." "Yes. But why didn't you tell us? Why did you make it anonymous?" I thought about how to explain it. Because I wanted to see what would happen. I wanted to see if you'd remember me when you didn't need me. I wanted to see if I mattered to you for who I was, not just for what I could do. She stared at me for a long moment. Then she started crying again. "Oh honey. Oh my sweet girl. What have I done to you?" "You haven't done anything to me, Mom. You've been human. You've been imperfect, like all of us. I failed you. I failed you as a mother, and I failed you as a human being. My own daughter saved my house, and I didn't even remember her birthday. But you remember now. That's not enough. It's not nearly enough." We talked for hours that day. Really talked, maybe for the first time in years. She told me about how she'd always worried about Sarah and Mike more because they seemed to need more help, and how she'd always taken me for granted because I was so capable, so reliable. "I thought you were fine," she said. "I thought you didn't need me the way they did. I thought you were strong enough to take care of yourself." "I am strong enough. But that doesn't mean I don't need you too. I know that now. I should have known it then." That evening, she called Sarah and Mike and told them what I'd done. Both of them came over immediately, and we had another long conversation. This one was harder, more emotional. There were tears. And apologies and admissions of guilt. "I can't believe you did that," Sarah said. "I can't believe you had that much money and never told us." "I can't believe you saved Mom and Dad's house," Mike said. "Why didn't you tell us it was you?" I explained again about wanting to see how they'd treat me when they didn't need me. About feeling forgotten and taken for granted. About my birthday, and how it had felt to be completely ignored by the people who were supposed to love me most. "I am so sorry," Sarah said. "I'm so sorry about your birthday. I'm so sorry about everything." "We all are," Mike said. "We've been terrible to you." "You haven't been terrible. You've been human. Flawed. Like all of us. But you've never forgotten our birthdays," Sarah said. "You've never taken us for granted." Maybe I have. Maybe I've just been better at hiding it. We talked until late that night, and for the first time in years, I felt like I was really part of my family. Not just the reliable one, not just the one who remembered everything and took care of everyone. But a real member of the family, with feelings and needs and worth. A few days later, my parents asked me to come over for dinner. When I walked into the house, I found the dining room decorated with balloons and streamers. There was a cake on the table with "Happy Birthday" written in frosting, and a pile of wrapped presents. "It's not October 15th, I said. "No," my mom said, "but we missed October 15th. We missed it badly. So we're celebrating it now." My dad stepped forward with tears in his eyes. "We're celebrating you, honey. We're celebrating our daughter who saved our house, who's always been there for us, who we've taken for granted for far too long." They sang "Happy Birthday," off-key and loud, just like they used to when I was little. I blew out the candles and made a wish. I wished for more moments like this one, more real conversations, more genuine connections. The presents were thoughtful, personal. A photo album filled with pictures of us when I was growing up. A necklace with my birthstone. A book of poetry that my mom had remembered me mentioning months ago. These are beautiful, I said, but you didn't have to do this. Yes, we did, my mom said. We had to do this and so much more. We have 33 years of birthdays to make up for. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. Actually, my dad said, we have something else for you. He handed me an envelope. Inside was a check for $230,000. Dad, I can't take this. Yes, you can. It's your money. You paid off our mortgage, and now we are paying you back. But I didn't do it for the money. I did it because I love you. We know that, my mom said. But we also know that you sacrificed a lot to help us. You gave up your security, your future, to save our house. The least we can do is give it back to you. I looked at the check, then at my parents, then at Sarah and Mike who were watching from the doorway. Asterisk, I can't take this, I said again. Why? Not. Because you're going to need it. You're going to want to travel, to enjoy your retirement, to live your lives. Keep the money. Enjoy it. That's what I wanted when I paid off your mortgage. My mom started crying again. How are you so good? How did we raise someone so good when we're so flawed? Asterisk, you're not flawed, Mom. You're human. And you raised me to be human too. That's why I could forgive you for forgetting my birthday. That's why I could help you even when I was hurt. That's why I love you even when you don't always love me the way I need to be loved. We do love you, my dad said. We love you so much, and we're going to do better. We're going to be better. And they have been. It's been 6 months since that conversation, and everything is different now. They remember my birthday now, not just the date, but the person. They call me not just when they need something, but when they want to talk. They include me in their plans, their conversations, their lives. Sarah and Mike have changed too. They're more thoughtful, more aware of how their actions affect others. They remember my birthday now, and they make an effort to be present in my life, not just when they need something. But the biggest change has been in me. I've learned to set boundaries, to ask for what I need, to not give so much of myself that there's nothing left. I've learned that love isn't just about what you do for people, but about how you let them love you back. I still have the money, sitting in my investment accounts, growing quietly. I still help my family when they need it, but now they help me too. We're more balanced, more equal, more real. And every year on October 15th, we celebrate. Not just my birthday, but the day our family learned how to really love each other. The day we learned that love isn't just about grand gestures or big sacrifices, but about seeing each other, remembering each other, and choosing each other every single day. Sometimes I think about what would have happened if I'd never paid off their mortgage. If I just stayed hurt and angry and distant. If I'd let my birthday be forgotten forever. But I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I took the risk, made the gesture, started the conversation. Because in the end, it wasn't about the money. It was about finding my way back to my family, and helping them find their way back to me. And that's worth more than any mortgage payment could ever be.